Do you love to play Magic Online but have a tight budget? Check out MTGO Academy's Academy Budget Bot in the Magic Online Classifieds. All cards in stock are cheaper than one event ticket.
Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to this 8-man with Mono Green Stompy. We're playing against Dark Hellkite in round 1, and we're on the play. We've decided to keep this, though it's a little awkward because we may decide to play the Skargan Pit Skulk. I clicked no on the mulligan decision a little hastily because this event just kind of started abruptly for me. I think we are going to lead on the Pit Skulk. There's a lot of damage here. And we have the Rancor. I think it's much better than waiting a turn and not attacking until turn 3. So I'm going to lead with this naked Pit Skulk, and we'll see how that goes. And it looks like our opponent might be the Is It Control deck, which I think is can be considerably tough to beat. So we have to decide if we want to Rancor this up or if we want to play another threat. And he's going to have a lot of removal if he is the Is It Control deck. So we have a third land to set up these ground swells as well. So we can attack for 1 here and then play Nest Invader. Next turn we can Rancor this, play our land. We're threatening 5, 9, 13. Whereas if we just play the Rancor here, Groundswell can protect us from Firebolt, but not from Flame Slash. So I think we're just going to attack and play Nest Invader. Now, let me know what you think of this keep. This keep is really interesting. And let's see if he's even still here, still responding. I'm going to check my... Okay, we're good. Going to attack. And hang on real quick, I'm just going to check that we're recording here. Okay, I am back. Look like we are recording, so we're going to just go ahead and play this Nest Invader. And we'll pass the turn. So he could be Is It Fiend, but I have a feeling that he's not. Oh, he is It Fiend. Okay, so this gets really interesting here. The plot thickens. Now, we're basically racing this guy. We see that we have a 4th land. So it might be in our best interest to Groundswell the Pit Skulk this turn and then leave up our second Groundswell to protect it. It doesn't actually protect it from Lightning Bolt, does it? We can leave the Eldrazi spawn back, and it's actually a colorless creature which gets around Apostle's Blessing. So that's really interesting. I think, yeah, we're going to Rancor up the Pit Skulk and send both attackers in. And we'll see if that's going to help us or not. And I think we are going to Groundswell once, depending on what his blocks look like. So does that change our clock at all? If he takes 5 here, we can make him take 9 and go to 10. Then any other pump spell is a kill, though we can play any of our other pump spells next turn. So I think we might just hold both of the pump spells. So this would be 14, or we take him to 10. I think we want to just hit him for 5 here and see what happens after that. So we're just going to pass. We have the 4th land, and we can do what we will with that. So this is 7, 11. We have him to 1 virtually. So he's casting Ponder. And this game is not going to last much longer. It's just a virtue of the fact of that's how this goes. You know, that's how these games go. But we have the Eldrazi spawn. He needs another blue source to get through the spawn and make his guy unblockable. And we've burned a lot of time on our clock, but that's just how it goes when you're recording and you play slow like I do. So, does he shuffle? He does shuffle. That is kind of a good sign. And he's going to probe me here, taking himself to 12, so he's actually dead here if he doesn't block the Nest Invader. Though we can just send with all of them and then Groundswell whichever ones he doesn't He doesn't block. He's going to 10, so he's going to try and kill me. He has to try and kill me, I suppose. Though he may be leaving up Lightning Bolt as well. I guess he could bolt the spawn also. Nope. He just passes, so it looks like a Lightning Bolt. And we can definitely play around that, I think. 11. No, he's at 10, so we can make the Pit Skull an 11 power guy, and then he's just dead. I don't think there's anything else he could have here. So we play the land 7. You can't Apostle's Blessing your opposing guys. I'm just going to check real fast and make sure that that's the case. It's you control. Okay, so we're just going to go for it here. I'm going to try and groundswell this right now. And that resolved. So we will attack. We'll leave back the Nest Invader, though we don't really need to. Alright, and we take game 1. So very lucky there to do that, and we've got some sideboarding to get into, so let's go ahead and get into that. Now, this isn't one of the decks I have on the forefront of my mind, but we do have Spore Frog, which is pretty important. Now, cards he's going to bring in against us include Electrickery and maybe any other intricate kind of burn spells. He may also have some kind of Dispel or Vapor Snag kind of thing. I'm not too familiar with their lists anymore. So we have to think about what is going to be bad for us in this matchup. Ledgewalker, I think, is okay. The only thing he can block it with is Delver. Vault Scourge, I think, is actually alright, though it does die to Electrickery. River Boa and Young Wolf can both block some guys, and they're a little bit more robust against Electrickery. Vault Scourge does help us race, however, I think he's going to be pretty explosive to the point where gaining some life with Vault Scourge, not too sure how beneficial that is. I think we're in terms of gaining life, I think Spore Frog actually does more for us than the Vault Scourge itself. Now, this could be a mistake. I don't see any other cards being good for us, and as a default board out, I tend to board out of Groundswell among all the other pumps. So I think that's what I'm going to do here, just board out of a single one. Leave in the Rancors that helps our guys trade with his Cyclops, because they become 4 power. All of these guys become 4 power. And these two, this one, it's Undying. I don't see Hornet Sting being that good. Scattershot Archer I don't see being all that good. And Sabotage, probably not going to have any targets. So I think I like the sideboarding here. And we're going to submit. So we're in game 2 of the first match of this 8-man. And we're on the draw, but we do have Spore Frog. We only have 1 land. Now, we can cast everything in our hand, but it's going to be kind of slow out the gates. I do like that we have Spore Frog and Young Wolf, and we have a Rancor to race either a turn 2 flipped Delver or it can also fight with a Cyclops. So I think we're going to keep this. And we'll see how this goes. He may start with a Delver, or he may start with a tapped land. So I'm going to check my connection again. We're good. Looks like maybe a Ponder or something. Yeah, so we'll just F6 here. And I'm going to take a sip of water. Okay, we're back. He chose not to shuffle here with that Ponder. And we're just going to lay out the Nettle Sentinel to start. It's the fastest creature we've got, or the fastest start that we have. And he may have a turn 2 Kiln Fiend. Indeed. So we can play the Spore Frog out now, which will prevent us from dying on turn 3. But he may just have a lightning bolt for it. So if we play the Spore Frog now, we can untap with Vines of Vastwood to protect all of our stuff. Though it's not going to be too good for us to just leave, pass with that open. So how likely is he to kill us on turn 3? I mean, just about every time I've left myself open to dying on turn 3, I have died. So I think I'm just going to attack him, and then if he blocks and tries a trick, we can also groundswell. But more likely we're going to play Spore Frog and untap our Nettle Sentinel, which he might not be able to get around. He may not be unblockable yet. So, all right, let's see how this goes. Set up our auto yielding. And from here on out, I think we could be safe, potentially, to start playing these other threats. Now, it's very unfortunate we didn't draw a land, but we're playing a low land count. And he has to play Assault Strobe at sorcery speed. So we can tell if we're going to have to sack this Spore Frog or not. Bottoms both. That's a really good sign. He's probably looking for another land here. Okay, he's probing me. He wants to see what else is in my hand. He wants to know if he can go for it. He wants to know how much time he has in order to fight us. So this is going to be a really tricky game, to be sure, because we have to provide a significant clock in addition to not dying to his Kiln Fiend here, and we don't really have any removal. We have Vines of Vastwood. It might be okay to leave up Vines of Vastwood just to make sure his guy can't get through. We probably actually want to use Vines as a counter spell. Oh, he didn't attack us, so he's going to use potentially a bolt on the Spore Frog EOT, which I may let resolve because I think I might want to Vines his guy, though we can also just Vines our own guy. So here I'm really interested in leaving up Vines. So I think I'm going to play my land, attack him, and then play Pit Skulk. And then that kind of minimizes the effectiveness of Groundswell. But if we draw another land, we can start doing some crazy damage. We could go Rancor, Groundswell out of nowhere. So I'm going to play the land, threaten Groundswell. Perhaps he'll be interested in blocking. And now we're going to turn on Skargan Pit Skulk. And we'll see if he wants to bolt my Spore Frog. He doesn't. I don't think he has bolt. But even if he did, it would be a waste. So all we need to do here is we have a couple options. We can actually leave up Vines as our very last resort. But we can also just... So he's going to use Artful Dodge. Now, if we use Vines here, he's going to be able to flash this back next turn, and we're in the same situation all over again. So I think I'm going to let the Artful Dodge resolve, and we still have Spore Frog up. He has to deal 20, and he may have to burn like a vast majority of his hand in order to do that 20, or to threaten it. So this is a fog, and Vines is theoretically a fog, I suppose. It's going to counter about half of an Artful Dodge. So he's unblockable. How much is he actually going to... Okay, so here's the Assault Strobe. He may have Flaring Pain, which is the one thing we'd have to worry about. So if he has Flaring Pain, this might be the time to use that Vines. Because Flaring Pain will kill us. And we still have Spore Frog. I think we're going to use it. And I'm pretty sure that this works correctly. I've only used it in this manner once before, and it worked fine in that instance. So we'll see what happens. So now his guy can't double strike. We're playing around Flaring Pain, which I don't know if that's correct or not. We still have Spore Frog on the table. And if we double Rancor, we put him essentially on a 2-turn clock. He's going to Dispel. Okay, so he can't have Flaring Pain here. So now we have to sack the Spore Frog. So we'll just wait till the blocker step. And so he's got Artful Dodge next turn. So what's the most damage we can do here? Because he's unblockable next turn anyway, 7. I think the most damage is just 8. So I think we're going to go for it. Put him on 1 turn. He had the Dispel for our Vines, so that actually would have been disastrous. And now he's kind of got a stop, so maybe he's got a Bolt this time. I've got Groundswell to protect. So if I attack for 6 now, I can attack with Rancor next turn. And maybe I should have put the Rancor on the Pit Skulk. And I can protect my guys from... Yeah, I'll just play Young Wolf. I can protect my guys from a Bolt, but... Give ourselves 2 blockers. He's going to make his guy unblockable anyway. But he needs Assault Strobe to... He needs another Assault Strobe. And I don't think we were going to beat that anyway. 2 Assault Strobes and Artful Dodge, turn 2 Fiend. Now, if we had drawn another Spore Frog or something... Okay, so looks like we might be in business here. Especially if we draw a land. Can he even survive this? He's playing red, so he's going to Bolt something. Ooh, he did have Bolt. Okay, so if I draw a land, I can kill him with Pit Skulk. I think. Maybe not. He's leaving back blockers. Oh, man. What do we even do here? I'm not even sure what to do. So we can play around the Bolt. And his guy can be unblockable, but he can't kill us next turn. So I think we put on the Pit Skulk and give him 1 turn to actually kill us. Because he just doesn't have it. He needs to draw Assault Strobe. Well, I mean, he can Preordain or something into it. But from 20, that's a very tough road to climb. Again, I'm just going to check my connection. We're both in the red, but I guess that doesn't mean anything. Okay, so his clock is just going. We have 15 minutes. And I have no idea if I'm playing well or not. Probably not. We did have those answers to his plan, and that really helped us so far. So, okay, that resolved. We're going to attack. He can only try to block if he pumps this. Nope. Okay, so we put him to 4. And I leave up Groundswell to protect my Pit Skulk from Lightning Bolt, I guess. So let's see. If he doesn't flip, we are definitely in the clear. Oh, what? But we're representing Vines. He has to go for it. I mean, I probably shouldn't have shown him that like face just to. There's a whole metagame thing going on where I show him that face, so maybe I have Vines. Oh, he only has 2 cards. Yeah, but he has the Artful Dodge. So if his second card, oh, okay. Well, if his second card is a instant or sorcery, we're dead. And these are both sorceries. So we can attack him with the Pit Skulk. We can put a Rancor on it, etc. Okay, 4. If he has anything that isn't Assault Strobe, so that's 17. I mean, he just needs 1 more. Yep. He might be slow rolling us, I'm not sure. He says he doesn't have it. Oh, it's a land. Ah, okay. Well, as long as there's nothing in his graveyard, we are good to go here. So just attack him. And it looks like we got 1 round under our belt, thankfully. These are kind of dicey because there's a potential to lose a lot. I mean, it's a single elimination, so if you lose your match, you're pretty much done. So we're going to attack here. GG's. And thanks to Dark Hellkite for the games. Looks like we are still alive here in this tournament. So we are going to take a break, and I hope you guys enjoyed. We were lucky enough to stall him out with the keeping the hand of Spore Frog and Vines on 1 land, which I'm not sure about that choice. It just happened to pay off this time. And thank you for watching. We'll talk to you for the next match.